Welcome to Cookies and Cream,
a podcast about life, marriage, race, and whatever else we want to talk about.
I'm Matt.
I'm Maya.
And we're a Christian mixed couple.
Sharing our experiences one episode at a time. Yo, yo, yo!
What it is. We
what
back at it again.
What I do.
Hello. We are podcasting.
Yeah. 2 times in a row.
2 times in a row,
Nice.
baby. Within 1 week. That's crazy.
Yeah.
We just came down here after putting our son to sleep 5 minutes ago.
Down here being our basement.
Down here
That's
being
a
our
weird
basement.
thing to say
Okay.
with no context of where we are in our home.
Last time we recorded this said podcast, we had at the beginning of the episode, I made a joke that was referencing a meme that was back at it again at the Krispy Kreme, which is a meme. It's a very, to me, well-known meme. I don't even know what it's from, but I've heard it a lot.
I don't know if I've even seen this meme.
It's just a joke. It's just like a thing that you say. Anyway,
Yeah.
because of that, we had at least one person say to us, I thought you were recording at a Krispy Kreme. Like, I thought that the podcast, when you said that, meant that you were set up with your microphones recording at a Krispy Kreme donuts.
At least the assumption is that's what
That meant.
made them think that we were in a donut
Well,
shop.
yes. Whatever the case is, that might be our ultimate goal to do that at some point. However, we are in our basement at our house with podcast microphones.
Yeah.
But yeah, that actually, I just said that we put our son down, and that kind of is exactly what we were going to talk about today. We were just like, it's been a second since we did this podcast, and so we're just going to talk about sort of what it's like parenting our son right now, who is 2.5. Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly 2.5. Yeah, 2 years and 6 months.
7 months.
Oh yeah,
It's August.
it is August. Dang. Yeah, he's 2 years and 7 months old. Last time we made this podcast, he was 1 year and 4 months old. So we had very different things to say about him and where our life was at. And so, yeah, we just thought that we'd talk about that. And then also the fact that we are pregnant and expecting baby number 2.
We are not pregnant.
That is a weird thing that like we've, as a society, started to say. Because it's like, I'm not pregnant.
We are expecting a baby. We are not pregnant.
We're expecting a baby, but really, I'm just expecting you having a baby. You're the only one expecting to have the baby. So I don't
We're expecting a baby, but you're not pregnant.
I'm not.
I am pregnant.
We're expecting a child to be birthed in December or January. And so, I don't know. We just wanted to kind of talk about what it's like to have a toddler and also how we're feeling about the next one coming along, because it was not necessarily an expected thing to happen. And so, yeah.
No.
Let's start with that, actually. Let's start with the baby number 2 stuff. You want to start with that?
No, I have to start with Ezra
Okay, start with Ezra.
to get to,
So talk
my
about,
feelings.
first of all, talk about the stage that we're in right now and what it's like.
Okay, so 2.5. Ezra, for those of you that don't know, which would be maybe one person because everyone else that listens to this has been around him.
It's just if you're friends but don't live here.
Yeah, basically.
Actively.
But if you don't know, Ezra is a little bit advanced as far as his language, his comprehension,
Yeah.
and his like agility and
Just like his abilities and the things that he can do are not normal
yeah.
for a 2.5-year-old.
Yeah. So he definitely seems a little bit older.
He does.
But he also like talks a lot. He, at this age, any kid is just learning a lot every single day. They're picking up words. They're picking up like understanding of things. Was that a sentence?
Yes.
Okay. And yeah, the world is just like a museum, basically. They're just like learning something constantly and gaining new abilities constantly and all that. So our kids specifically, currently, what was the question? What is parenting like?
Well, yeah,
For me,
what's
at
it like
least?
parenting him, but also just like, what is it like to have a kid this age who's going through the stuff he's going through right
Gotcha.
now?
Okay. So for me, it is hard, but it is so fun. Like, I have a lot of days where I get to the end of the day and we get through bedtime and I'm just like, laying on the bed, staring at the ceiling, completely drained. I might cry. Like, it's been a rough day. We're dealing with the toddler tantrums, and the attitude and the
know-it-all.
Yeah. He's very much like, no, but I said this, but it's this, but you're wrong. And it's like, you're 2 years old, please.
Who do you think you are?
But that being said, I think it is so fun, and I am enjoying this stage. I like toddlers. I didn't think that would be the case for me, honestly. Like, going into parenthood, looking at other people's children, I did not think I would like toddlers.
You always said that you would like
dreading
10-year-olds. Like,
yeah. I was kind of dreading these years a little bit because, I can't breathe.
You gotta, okay, when we're doing this, I always find that whenever I'm talking, I don't like take breaths between my sentences. And so I'm like, I get to the end of a thing and I'm like, long, talking. And then I have to be like off the mic, be like, just breathe.
Breathe.
It's okay for breath sounds to go into the microphone. No one will care.
It is. Also, I'm pregnant and
you are.
The baby is just pressing on every part of me on the inside. I don't know. But anyway, I just didn't expect to like it. I expected it to be kind of annoying, and the tantrums I thought would be like so awful that it makes that just a terrible couple of years, honestly. Which was a really negative way to go into it, a negative like thought process going into it.
That also is how it's portrayed, though. Like
that is the whole like terrible twos thing is all people talk about with toddlers,
and like the videos on social media and stuff. It's like that's all that toddlers are, and the way the media portrays it. So that's part of it too. And
then I just tend to be more negative, like that. I go into things thinking more negatively than I need to a lot of times, and that's something I feel like it's gotten better since we've been married.
Yeah, you've worked through a lot of that.
It's still really a struggle for me. So anyway, I did not expect to love this stage, but I really do. I love that he is able to be a little bit self-sufficient.
Yeah.
That he's able to go get himself a little pouch out of the pantry and bring it to me and ask me to open it. And I love that I can ask him to go get something and he will go get it and he'll bring it back, even if it takes a couple times. But I also love, like, he is just fun. Like, I genuinely like our kid. I like being around him. I like playing with him, even though it's exhausting. He's very active, and he wants to fence all the time. And I'm like, you're hitting my knuckles with your little fencing drumsticks. I don't like this, but...
Fencing drumsticks is hilarious if you have no idea what we're talking about. Anyway, long story.
But yeah, I really love it. He's fun. He's funny. He's so goofy.
Yeah.
And just seeing him discover things, seeing him figure things out, seeing his little brain work, I just like, it is such a blessing, honestly. And like, I truly in this stage understand when parents are in the middle of like really rough stages and they are still thankful and like thanking the Lord for their children in a way that's like, those don't seem to go together. Like, I feel like I really understand it.
Yeah.
Because it's not like it's the hardest phase in the world, honestly. Like, I think the newborn phase was much harder for me than this is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I just...
You like... The way that you're able to just be super happy with him and like just vibe with him throughout the day is so cool because like
we have a great time.
You guys are buddies. Like you guys are best buddies. Yeah, you really are. Like he's just your little dude, your little friend. I think it helped you a lot that you got to have that relationship with your little brother when he was this age because you've dealt with this before and you know what it's like to just sort of like deal with the ups and downs of a toddler and just like still be buddies with them. I
can't even say I remember that much. Like I was 11 when he was born.
Yeah.
So by this point I was like 13-ish.
Yeah.
13, 14, I don't know. I think actually I was like, He was born in June, so I think I was like turning 12 in like a month.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I was like 14-ish, and I don't know, you're a kid. So I don't like deeply, I remember him, but I don't like really remember like the day to day all the time with my brother. But yeah, just I do remember the relationship we had and how sweet that was. And he was just my best buddy.
I think it also just like...
He still is my best buddy.
Yeah. I think it kind of equipped you, though, to be able to handle this. Because...
in a way, I did not know.
Yeah.
Going into this, like into parenthood, I had no idea that back then the Lord was preparing me for our son, because they're a lot alike. They really are. Like,
they are.
Even just one thing, the energy level.
Yes.
Every kid does not have this energy level. And my brother definitely did. And my son does. And so, like...
yeah, for all the cross-fellowship people out there who are listening to this, you know about the energy level. After church on Sunday mornings, we get him out of his little class, and he is literally just running laps around the worship center with the 6 and 7-year-old kids, just like lap after lap after lap, just like laughing his head off. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is sweet. I've had a weirdly different experience than you of this, because you had this really cool, like, sweet thing where you've just like really loved this phase, and you talk about a lot how you love it. And you, like you said, you get to the end of like the hardest day with him, where you were at the park and you had to yell at him and like stop him from doing something, and he's throwing a tantrum at you and like whatever. You get to the end of a day like that, and then you lay in the bed and look at pictures of him on your phone, and you're like, I miss him so much. I love my boy. And with the toddler phase, I haven't had that. Like, I have not had the...
yeah, you've really been missing the baby phase.
I have, because I wasn't around kids growing up. I wasn't around like kids who got to the age where they want to play stuff, you know? Like, I knew babies are kind of like, as hard as babies are, they're a little bit more self-explanatory, because it's just like, it's there, you got to feed it, and then outside of feeding it and changing its diapers, it just wants to snuggle with you and hang out and sit there. And I've had a hard time transitioning from that to like having to come up with stuff to do with him.
Which is funny, because he transitioned out of that at 10 months.
I know. But recently it's been more because he's just like so smart that you can't occupy him with anything that's not like super, I don't know, intellectually stimulating, and things that actually take a little more work. And so, and if it's not TV
or energy.
Yeah. And so I don't feel like I have the same level of energy that you do for like really just pouring into him. And so it's been a hard thing for me, because a lot of the time I get home from work and I'm tired and mentally drained, and then because of how like smart he is and how like, you know, just he is like so perceptive of things, it takes a lot of mental energy to like go into the mode of him and sort of like, you know, just get on his level and start like thinking of, you know, how am I going to like hang out with him and spend time with him right now. And so
I can tell you, just hearing you talk about it, that you're overthinking it.
I am. I know I am.
Like, we don't do the most, like, I don't know. I don't put that much thought into what we do necessarily. Honestly, I follow his lead a lot, because he'll be like, hey, you take this stick.
Yeah.
And you play with it this way. And I'm going to play with this stick this way. And then we'll trade sticks and we'll do the same thing. Like, that's what he does.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, let's do that. But I also am idealizing it. Like, well, this is how my heart feels. Those hard days are so hard and so draining. Like,
they are.
I get through breakfast and I feel like I've lived a whole day. And I am just, I don't, like, literally, there are days where I'm like, God, I don't know how I'm going to get through this day. Especially being pregnant, I don't have like any energy and I don't feel good. But yeah, there's so many days where I'm just like, we're going to sit and watch TV. Yeah. Have we already had 2 hours of TV today? Probably. But that's all I can do. I'm so sorry. I can't get up and play with you. If you bring the blocks over, I'll sit on the couch and play. But like,
I think, for me, it's a combination of like probably overthinking it, but also not knowing how to follow his lead with stuff and not being able to just like let go of it, because I haven't done a good job, I don't think, of like transitioning out of the mindset of having a baby where it's like all you got to do is like your responsibility as their parent is to just like keep them alive, bond with them, sit close to them, and just sort of like exist with them. Whereas with a toddler, it's like not like you have to like create all these crazy things to entertain them, but there's a lot more entertaining them instead of just like, which I know is not like, it's not every moment I have to be like, here's an activity for us to do. But I feel like today you were gone having lunch with your friends and I was hanging out with them, and we were like, we played football for a while and we were just like running around and doing stuff. But then when we sit down and I'm like, I'm going to have a cup of coffee and sit here, he's never content with that, And if I tell him, go do something, play independently, he doesn't like it. And then he comes to me and he keeps like, and so the thing that I'm struggling with is not knowing how to like not be constantly entertaining him, but then not have that like frustrate him, or it frustrates him to the point where he's pestering me enough where I get frustrated enough to just like shift gears and do stuff. Like, I don't know how to just sit or just like exist with him there like you do, because you do it all day, so you're used to it. But it's like, yeah, I don't know if it's because of how he relates to me differently than you, because he's used to that with you, that you guys are together all day just doing that stuff. But it feels like with me, it's like, and this might just be me putting this out there, but yeah, it feels like it's either all 100% we're doing stuff, or it's like I'm sitting there, he wants me to be playing with him, but I'm not, and then I feel guilty about that, Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think his expectation of you is, I have got you for a short time each day, and then I have my weekends. So when I have you, you need to be on. Like, I need you wrestling and throwing something and playing music and the whole time. And I think it's probably, from what we've talked about, hard for you not to be doing that, because you also feel the weight of that, but you're a person and you're tired and you just worked a full day and you worked a full week, and like, I don't know. I feel like that's a lot of it, but I also think, like you said, he's used to me telling him, no, go play. Yeah. We just played for an hour, go play. Just like with your parents, he's a little better behaved than he is with us in certain scenarios. Yeah. And
because he's not just like tuning out them saying no to him at a certain point like he is with us. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I think and he's just used to what's okay and what's not okay with Mimi and Papa. Yeah. In a way that, I don't know, kids are different with their parents, but I think that because he sees me all day, because I have had the 2 years, I guess, of repeating, okay, now it's time for you to do this, and I'm going to do this every day. He's just used to it. And with you, he doesn't know to expect that. Yeah. It's like, oh, okay, I'll go play. All right, I'm back. You ready to play now? Like, are you back on?
Well, that's true, because it's like in the mornings, he's not old enough to understand that. Well, he is, but he doesn't understand why I have to go to work. He just knows I have to go to work in the mornings. And so a lot of the time, there's like, the day starts out with me being like, I'm sorry, buddy. I want to play with you. I want to do this, but I have to go to work. I have to get ready and go to work. And like, I think maybe that for him, you're right, that he's just like, if you went to work, now you're done with that. Now it's just me time, like now it's the time that you're going to be with me. And there's nothing wrong with him thinking that, because that's what he's expecting to get, a couple hours every night, except for weekends. But yeah, it's hard because I don't know how to not be like almost envious of how he is with you, because I watch how he behaves for you, and he's so much more chill than he is with me. Like when I am working from home and I come downstairs, the way that you guys are just vibing, like he's just sort of doing his thing, you're doing your thing, you're in the same room, you're checking in on him, he's checking in on you. Like, I just don't get, it's not like that with me. And so it's like, I don't know how to like expect a different thing with me and him than
I mean,
there
it's
is in him
taken
and
us 2 years. Like,
yeah.
I feel like we're just now getting to the point where he's old enough and his comprehension is like high enough, and we've trained in it enough that yeah, he can be in there and play, and I can go cook him something
Yeah.
and know that he's not jumping off the top of the piano, you know? Like,
Right.
I don't know. It just, or constantly, and he still does a lot. Like, you miss
Yeah.
a lot, which is sad. And I don't mean to make you sad by saying that,
No.
but like, it's the truth. You're at work. And so you happen to come down sometimes and see, oh, he's chilling on the couch with you and he's just hanging out, or he's in there playing blocks while you make him lunch. And you're not seeing 20 minutes before that when I was like, okay, I'm going to go make you lunch. And then he came in, then he left, then he brought his chair in and he stood on it, and then he fell off, and then he cried. And, you know, like, you're
Right.
not seeing
Yeah.
all of the in between. You just get to see these little moments that can make you feel like we have something you don't have, which sometimes, yeah, we do, but like, it's not always like that at all.
Yeah. That's, I don't know if I think it's always like that, but I do think that I think what I'm telling myself is that you guys always have this chill dynamic that you probably don't have. And chill can be different things, you know, but I think there's probably a quantity thing there too, because you have more actual time with him.
Mm-hmm.
You have more, just like straight up more time. And so within that, the amount of times that you have to tell him no and that he has to be a little bit disappointed versus the amount of time that you are able to do whatever he wants and you just kind of are there and there's nothing else going on is less than like if, you know, a lot of nights we have stuff going on. And so it's like I get off work and then it feels like it's just a constant string of me having to let him down until he goes to bed. You know, it's like, oh, buddy, you know, I'm sorry, we have to go to DC, or we like have this thing we have to go do, or I have to help mommy clean the kitchen, or I have to like whatever. And so it just feels like the percentage of times that I'm having to like what feels like disappoint him is just so high, you know? And that's like, yeah, it's hard. I don't really know what to do about it, honestly. I don't know if I'm like, if a lot of that's in my head and he doesn't feel that, but I just, looking at the way he looks at me so often, I'm like, he just wants me so much more than he gets me, you know?
I am sure that every other dad feels this way. Like, every other good dad. You know, like okay, that's a terrible thing to say, because what if you don't feel that way and you are a good dad? So I take it all back. I'm sure.
If you're a good dad and you don't feel that way, you're not a good dad.
No, I'm sure that like most dads feel like this.
Yeah.
Because you all go to work. Like,
Yeah.
most dads, at least in the circles we're in, are the ones that go to work.
Yeah.
And the mom stays home or works or whatever. But like, working parents
Yeah.
probably just all feel like that. I don't think you're alone in that. But I also think that the Lord made toddlers have a really short memory on purpose.
That's true.
And they're so forgiving. And the times that I lose my temper and I yell and I have to apologize and we have to, he cries and holds his little arms out and his little face is just,
Oh my gosh.
like, it's devastating.
That
and I
is
feel
devastating.
awful that I lost my temper and that I couldn't keep my cool and whatever else it is. And he comes and he hugs me and I apologize and we fix it. And he hasn't thought about it again
Right.
in 5 seconds. Like, it's just gone, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was on purpose. I think that in the Lord's, I guess, design, though I don't know what it would have looked like before the fall. But I think that
No one had kids before the fall. Isn't that weird?
yeah.
There were no parents before the fall of man.
There were no kids either because they were adults from the beginning.
They were.
But yeah, I really truly think that was intentional from the Lord, because you can't always say yes. And I think that in the way that like the childbirth and the
toiling in work.
All of that is described. Like, I think that's just a symptom of that.
That's good.
I think that's like just an unfortunate thing that happened when sin was introduced. But I think that a way that he showed grace was in the fact that our kids are very forgiving.
Yeah.
Especially when they don't understand. Like a 13-year-old might not be as easily forgiving, but they also understand why you can't. A 2-year-old doesn't understand, but they're so forgiving.
Yeah.
You know, and so he's like, okay. And then he finds a car and his day is fine.
Yeah.
You know?
No, you're right.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think I understand. You know, I understand how sad that must feel. I guess I don't understand because I'm not experiencing it, but...
Well, no, yeah. I mean, you empathize with me on things. You know how when you see how sad something makes me, you can feel how I'm feeling in the moment.
Yeah.
But
I feel like the only options are either just keep going for that last couple of hours.
Yeah.
That last 2 hours of the day, like it's work, you know, like you take your break after. Yeah. Or be okay disappointing him.
That's what I was going to say that exact
do it consistently, thing. Not disappointing him consistently, but like very consistently saying you can work your way up, just like we did with him in general with independent play. Like you can work your way up with like, okay, buddy, can you go play for 2 minutes with your blocks? And then I'll play with you. And then you work your way up or whatever the thing is. Like training him to do it with you. I feel like those are your only two options. But if somebody out there has a third option, please share.
Hit us up. You can comment on Spotify now, so do it.
Really?
Yeah, you can comment on Spotify now.
Hey, y'all, comment on Spotify.
We'll do our, if you listened all the way to the end, comment thing on Spotify this time. How about that? But not everyone's listening on Spotify. What a jerk thing to say. Anyway.
If you're not on Spotify...
You're not a good dad.
Whoa! We have 2 comments on our last episode.
I know.
I didn't see these.
You have to approve them in the little like dashboard. So I had to go in and like see that people commented and say like, yes, this is not a spam or
is
racist
this your mom?
comment. Yeah.
Is that the Amy it is?
Yeah, that's
we know
my mama.
A lot of Amy's.
And Matt C. Anyway, I was gonna say that same thing.
We have comments on Spotify.
You just are easily
I just
amused.
didn't know this existed.
Just,
you know what's crazy is I think you said something a while ago and I forgot.
I think I did, but I wasn't going to bring that up. Anyway, I was going to say that same thing, that I feel like there's only those 2 options. It's either like 100% or 0%. And
the second option is not 0%.
That's what it feels like to me. You know, it's like it feels
it's
like
not 0.
Well, it feels like to be able to do what I want to do.
I think 0% is, at least for you, would be you only play with him on the weekends.
Yeah.
That's when you have the energy, so you don't try on the weekdays. You just say no, and you go up to the room until dinner's ready.
Yeah, it's not 0. That's true. But it's like what he wants from me so bad is 100%. Like a super high energy, just like I get off work, I come home, and he's just screaming for me. He's so excited. And he wants me to just be like running and throwing him on the bed and like doing all that for like as long as I possibly can. And it's like like you said, there are days where I do just sort of like stay just like kind of on a high of just like, I'm just still on, I'm still doing stuff. But on the days where I can't do that, it feels like that what he wants from me versus what he wants from you is just so different. That a lot of the time it feels like all I'm doing is disappointing him. Because if I can't, like if I come home and it was a long day, it was a hard day, or I'm tired, I can still be with him. I'm still there with him, but I'm just not like, he's like, Daddy, come do this with me, come play with me. And I have to be like, I'll play this game with you sitting down, or, you know, whatever it is. It feels like that he feels let down by that. And that's really sucky, you know? Yeah.
Life's tough.
Life's tough.
Eat a cookie.
Eat a cookie and cream.
Oh. That was awful.
Or not. Forget that was said. Anyway, that's not the only thing that I am feeling about him right now, but that's just like my general attitude, which is not great. But
well, think about this. Just one thing. 2 weeks ago, you were having, for about 2 or 3 weeks, you had really hard work weeks.
True.
Where you were just like, every single day you came home exhausted and mentally drained, and you looked like you had like been running all day. Like you were just so tired, and you did not have the energy. And so you were pretty low energy with him. You were, because that was all you had.
Yeah.
Every single day, he screamed for you when you came home. The next week, he screamed for you every single day when you came home.
True.
And he runs to you, and he's excited to see you every single day. And every moment that you come downstairs to get a coffee, he's excited to see you. And every time you come down to get lunch,
you're right.
He's like, he never... You go upstairs and say, I'm sorry, I can't play with you. And you come down again, and he screams, and he's excited to see you. Like, I know it feels draining for you to constantly say no, but you have to understand that little boy, you are his whole world, you know? Like,
that's nice.
I truly don't think there's anything you could do to make him like you less or love you less. Like, he just can't. You're his whole world, and he will always want you to play with him, no matter how many times you say no, or no matter how many times you have to modify it. He will always be excited to play with you until he thinks you're lame.
Yeah.
Then he won't want to play with you, but he will go to the store with you, you know?
That's nice.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's a nice thing to say. You're right. He always is so excited. I know that I am more worried about any of this than he ever is or will be.
Yeah.
He's ultimately just so happy that we're together in the same, all three in the same place. You know, like that's the happiest that he ever is like when we all three sit down.
Can we watch Daniel Tiger, all three families?
All three families. Yeah, when we're all together and we're just like having snuggles, that's like, I think that is, you're right. He's like, he might want other things, but that's like the core thing that he's
also,
just
life's
like,
not fair. You can't have everything.
You can't have everything you want. That's true. He just,
That's
and also it is like an impossible thing a little bit because of just how much darn energy this child has. It's impossible for anyone who's not also a 2.5-year-old with freaking Red Bull running through his veins or something that to be able to keep up with him, because it's just like
he gives Red Bull wings.
He gives Red Bull wings. That was funny.
Thank you.
They are whatever taurine is actually just like the. No, I'm not going to say that.
Because anything you were going to say was going to be so creepy.
I think I was literally going to say the blood of toddlers. That is
so
I'm gonna get put on a list, man.
Yeah, no.
All right, moving on from that. I love my boy. I love my boy so much. He's the best. But
that's overall like where your heart is.
That's just where my heart is with parenting him right now.
Some phases are just harder than others, you know?
I miss the newborn phase, but I think that selfishly I probably miss it because it took less mental energy, and I could just like so often they would fall asleep on you, or like all you got to do is hold them. Like it's
and
easy
I'm the opposite because of that.
Yeah,
because it took more mental energy for me.
Yeah, because with breastfeeding and just like the way that he was so attached to you, it's true, because for a dad, it's like you get the kind of, they just come to you and obviously changing diapers and stuff and waking up in the night, but they're coming to you and you just get snuggles and stuff, but then like all the super
you can't
like
fix anything,
no,
so
I can't.
You give it back.
And then breastfeeding
like,
and
it needs a boob.
it needs the teat. Yeah, it's true. But I also just probably because it like my selfish and sinful self and heart wants to do less work. And so like it takes a lot of work right now that sometimes I just don't want to put in. There's probably also a sin element of it too. That's something I have to.
You can always find one.
You can always find one. We are wicked. Anyway,
what's wrong with you today?
That's I don't know, man. I'm
that
tired.
Notori.
Well,
thing,
okay. So talking about being tired. one reason is because our son was not actually fully asleep until like almost 2 a.m. last night. So we were up and down making a peanut butter sandwich at 1:30 in the morning, trying to get him back to sleep. So that was fun, and we're both kind of tired today. But actually, it was cool because today was, I would have expected this to be the kind of day that was the worst day ever, and the Lord turned it into a really good day. Yeah. We've had a nice day.
It was a really sweet day.
Yeah, that's Ezzy. That's where we're at with him.
Yeah.
We're also expecting a baby.
Mm-hmm.
And we also feel oppositely about the baby, kind of.
Yes, we do.
In the opposite directions. So let's talk about how you are feeling about this wonderful angel girl that we're going to have, who is going to make you feel ways.
Yeah. Okay. So when we were talking about doing this episode, I was kind of like, I don't know if I actually want to do that, because that just feels really vulnerable to actually share how I'm really feeling about the baby, because I feel like it's kind of hard. That
was like a weird throat burp. But you know,
I didn't know if it was me. You know how sometimes you can't feel them?
Well, that's what just happened. It just came out of me unintentionally, and I was like, I took a drink of water, and then I was like, I think I need to burp. And then I didn't, but then it went, and it just came. Okay.
That was pretty good.
Thanks.
Good. Yeah.
One thing I got is that SFX, baby.
You're weird.
There's a foghorn.
That was awful. That was so terrible. Anyway,
I'm gonna stop talking.
We're being serious. Yeah, I feel like it's very vulnerable specifically for me to talk about how I actually feel about the baby, because it feels like you're supposed to, I don't know. I think especially in Christian circles, it can feel, for me, like it's hard to share negative feelings about a new baby.
Because of the, like, motherhood is the greatest journey you'll ever go on.
Yes.
And you just feel so close to the Lord, and you feel like your true self.
Yes. And then our church specifically has an abundance of pregnant moms and new babies and families, and a lot of moms who genuinely feel that way.
Yeah.
A lot that don't. Like, a lot who are like, yeah, I like being a mom. I love my kids, but this is not like the only thing I was ever called to do. There are moms that feel that way, so I'm not saying that there aren't, but I think it can just be hard for me to actually share how I feel. And so when people have asked, like, oh my gosh, that's so exciting, like, how are you guys feeling? Usually my generic answer is like, yeah, good, we're excited, you know, it's gonna be good. Maybe I'm a little nervous or something like that, if I go so far as to add that. And then the people the closest to me are the ones that know that I don't actually feel that way.
Yeah.
So
yeah, like, how are you actually feeling?
Yeah, so I'm prefacing this with that this is actually kind of hard to share. But anyway, knowing that we're putting it on the internet, on the interwebs,
anyone can find this.
including the baby in some years.
Nah, you'll feel different when she's actually
I know.
person in your life. Anyway.
I know. Okay, so anyway, I'll feel different about what? The baby hearing this?
You'll
eventually?
You won't still feel this way whenever our child is old enough to listen to this.
No, I know, but imagine if our 13-year-old daughter is like, Mom, you didn't want me?
Was I adopted?
Okay. Anyway. So, how I'm feeling about the baby. Terrified. I probably will cry talking about this. I am so scared. I had a mental breakdown 2 nights ago. Part of that was pregnancy hormones. But I was probably having a panic attack and sobbing because I am so scared. Like, I'm not excited, honestly. I have moments where I feel excited. I have moments where I know and I can feel the Lord kind of like, it almost feels like he's like putting his hand on my shoulder and showing me things that are like, it's gonna be okay. Mm-hmm. Like, I saw a video of a little baby, and you could see that he was nursing, and you just see his little cheeks like moving the way that it does and it was just so sweet, and it made me tear up. I can't stand you.
Sorry.
And it made me tear up because that is a really sweet thing that I do miss a little bit, you know? And so the Lord absolutely gives me those little moments, and has throughout the pregnancy. But overall, I'm not excited. I, like my general feeling most of the time is not excitement at all. It's kind of dread, honestly. I don't really want a second child.
Yeah.
I don't deal with change well. And so I really like our life right now. I like how, I like our routines. I like what it's like to have one child. I like that even though it is overwhelming sometimes, I know how to handle it. I don't want to learn a new kid. I don't want anything to change with me and Ezzy. And I'm really nervous about like him not being the baby anymore, and emotionally for him and for me what that'll feel like, even though I think he'll be fine.
That was the thing that you were really, really freaking out about the other night, was that he's not going to be the baby anymore, and you're afraid that he's going to feel like he's become like
I don't want him to feel like he got moved to second place or something. And I know because of that, we'll be intentional in trying to not allow that to be the case. But as the oldest of 4, I felt that way a lot. Honestly, I did. And I was older, especially than my younger brother. And so there were times where I needed to be like, you're a big kid, you know, let's tend to the baby while you know.
But you also did like
yourself.
Unfairly get pushed to the side a lot.
At least I feel like I did, but you know, but yeah, I'm really aware of that, and I'm nervous about it. I just love him so much, and I don't want him to feel that way. But I'm also just so terrified of having 2 children. I'm scared of breastfeeding again. I'm scared of not sleeping again. And 2 naps is terrifying to me for some reason. Like 2 nap schedules, not 2 naps. 2 nap schedules is terrifying to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's mostly fear. Like I was just telling you the other day that my fear of spiders has skyrocketed lately. I had that was a real panic attack.
That was a straight up meltdown.
Seeing a really big spider on the couch next to me. It took me probably 20 minutes to calm down. Like stop hyperventilating.
It's a scary spider.
Stop sobbing. And some of this is pregnancy hormones, but I feel like I can just feel that fear has been like a big theme for me lately, which has begun to be something I pray about, and like remind myself of truth with, specifically because that's not what the Lord calls us to, and we don't have to be afraid. But I'm noticing that I'm fearful in a lot of circumstances, which is why I brought up the spider and not just about the baby.
Yeah.
That was how I realized, like, oh, this feeling is fear. This isn't just dread or whatever. This is fear. But yeah, I think the unknown of it all, I don't deal with it very well. Growing up, I had to deal with unknown a lot, and I think that I have maybe even idolized a little bit stability in the life that we've created for ourselves. And I think I felt like this with Ezzy too, but I think when life calms down and it becomes what we like, a routine is put in place, and we know what we do and where we go and who we talk to and what we eat and all of these things. I don't want anything
to upset
it, and I hold on to it so tightly that I have like fingernail prints in my hands, because I'm just like, no, I won't let it go. Even though I know logically that the Lord is saying, I have something better for you. Open your hands. Your hands. Like, I have something better for you, and I'm trying to give it to you. And either you're going to get here kicking and screaming, or you're just going to accept the gift I have for you and understand that I know better. I know best for you. And so, yeah, it's hard for me to open my hands. It's hard for me to let go and to just accept wherever the Lord is leading us. And I guess some of that's just control. But I think most of it is just fear, honestly. Yeah. So I think that's where I am with the baby.
Because last time when you were pregnant with Ezra, you were like, you had the general fear and anxiety of becoming a new parent that everyone has, where you're just like, what do I do with the baby? How do I keep this thing alive? You know? Mm-hmm. But yeah, this has been a different kind of thing where it's like such a specific anxiety, you know, where it's just like, it's just got like it seems like it's had a grip on you. Mm-hmm. And yeah, if you're just like laying there at night, just like freaking out, and I can feel you like until you are asleep, you just, I can feel your thoughts racing through your head. I can feel you tossing and turning, just sort of like unsure. What, bro?
I don't know. I don't know.
You're crazy.
Feel your thoughts racing through your head. It's so funny to me.
I can, because I feel
I know exactly what you're saying, but for whatever
like,
reason, that made me laugh.
We're so unserious.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's just to say that it's been a different kind of monster this pregnancy than it was like, yeah.
Yeah. And then that coupled with not feeling good physically and really disliking being pregnant, it just is like kind of those are like the cherry on top of everything else. I'm just like, I already didn't want to ever do this again.
Yeah.
Like, did I know we wanted another kid someday? Yes. Did I know it was probably about time to start thinking about having another kid? Yes. Did I want to do that?
Well,
not at all. Like, I hate being pregnant in my body. There are really cool things about it. Like when you feel the baby kick, that's really cool. Yeah. And you get to let other people feel, and they're like, oh my God. And you're like, oh my God. Like, that's really cool. But I hate this.
Yeah. Well, your body hates you. So that's a big part of it. Your body is like, nah, I'm not a fan of you right now.
Yes. It's trying to reject its host.
It is. It's like, it's literally
my
like
body,
you have
not the baby.
It's like a parasite, and your body's like, I need this out. I need you to stop doing whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
The way that people are like, I just feel like so healthy and alive, and I'm like in my best, like my body feels the best when I'm pregnant. I'm looking at you over there, shriveling in the ER. Yeah. Man.
Yeah. So there's that.
Is that where you're at? Yeah. And I mean, there's two things that I like. One, it is cool that God is sort of like pulling you along, even though you're feeling that way, because like even in just you had a lot of anxiety about the decision to have a second kid, and the whole like, there's like obviously like the pressures of people around you having another kid or whatever, but then also just like feeling like we want another kid, but you had such a rough, terrible first pregnancy.
Yeah, I just knew I would literally never be able to say I'm 100% ready to try again.
Yeah, and you're like, I would never actually just want pregnancy again. Mm-hmm. And so the fact that we prayed and you prayed for like for God to fix your heart so that you would want that again, because you knew deep down that he was telling us that we needed to have another kid, but then also that you prayed specifically that he would just make it happen. That he would just
like you got to choose.
And it really was. It was like we were not trying to get pregnant. We just
this is miraculous conception.
And so like that's like he did it, and then like I don't know. That's just like a cool little evidence that it's not random, or it's not like this thing that just happened and you just got to deal with it, you know?
Yeah, there have definitely been things all along that have just been like, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
God did that, obviously, because that doesn't make sense.
Yeah. But anyway, that doesn't change the way you're feeling about it.
No, it doesn't, but it really is like, it is a comfort, even in the midst of anxiety, to know And to be able to remind myself, like the main truth that I'm able to tell myself is God has not forgotten about you. God has not subjected you to some terrible fate. God is caring. Like, I'll say me. God is caring for me.
Yeah.
God loves me. And even though these thoughts in my head, this anxiety, this fear feels so real, what's real is the way that he has cared for you throughout this whole thing. Like, I feel like that's the main truth that I just have to rehearse over and over and over again. And I have to remember the little moments where he shows me something sweet and he gives me a little twinge of nostalgia or a little twinge of, oh, I'm excited or whatever.
Yeah.
Because he's just giving me these little things that are like, I have you. You are okay. Take a deep breath.
Yeah.
Because you're freaking out and you're kind of killing the whole vibe. Like, chill out. You're okay.
Yeah. And it's cool that he's also sort of like, he's tearing down your idols a little bit too.
Oh, 100%. I am being stripped of them.
Yeah. Comfort. You're feeling good in your body. Stability in our life and our routines and lifestyle and stuff. He's like, nope. That's stuff that you were looking to for your stability. Mm-hmm. Nope. That's something that you were tempted to like look to for control. Nope. That's with me too. It's like with a lot of it. And that's with some of the stuff I was talking about with Ezra too. It's that way. Like, idolizing, feeling like I have energy, idolizing, feeling like I have the ability to do what I want with my time, like things like that, that are just like ultimately self-worship and are not like, I'm taking worship away from God and I'm worshiping my own self and my own comfort and desire, whatever. But it's just, even in hard things, God is like, well, for your good and for his glory. It's cool.
Yeah. Okay, your turn. How you feeling about the baby?
I'm excited. Whenever I tell people that, it's completely genuine. Unlike you, you're fake.
I was literally about to say, you're a liar.
You're a liar.
He's a liar.
What is that from?
I don't know. What is that from? Liar. He's a liar.
I don't remember. Look it up while I'm talking.
Okay.
Anyway, I'm really excited because we found out it's a girl, and I am just beyond excited to have a girl. I want the little princess. I want the sweet little pink things and all that stuff. And with Ezra, we thought, not just we wanted him to be, we thought this baby's a girl. When we were like just waiting for the gender reveal and all that, it was almost like a formality. It was like, we just got to wait until we find out it's a girl. And then with Ezra, it was a boy, and it was such a shock. And so I've been like sitting there just like imagining a little girl and all that. And so now it's finally actually happening, and I'm just so excited for that. And like I said earlier, I loved the really like the not like first month, the newborn phase, but from a couple months. That month
is just straight survival.
That is. I don't even remember that month, honestly. I really don't. And I shouldn't. There's no reason I should. I was not a person. I was a zombie. Anyway. Yeah. But I just loved the couple months to about a year, 18 months phase. Because it was just like, I don't know. It was really sweet. There's a lot of snuggling, and I'm a very task-oriented person. And so there's a lot of things just to do for the baby. It's like, you have to just stay on top of these things. That's something that I can do pretty well. Like, just if I know the stuff I know my set of responsibilities, I can stay on top of them, And it gets a lot more gray the older they get, the more they think, the more they just want you to. Anyway, all that combined, and just because I'm excited for Ezra to have a friend, for him to have a little person to play with when she gets older, obviously. And just that it's like, I don't know, it's just, it feels right for us to have two kids. It feels like what God's plan is for us. And so the fact that he did it in the way he did it, and the fact that we are a little bit more set in our like life, and we have a lot more figured out than we did with Ezra. With him, it was like we're in the midst of changing everything when he came. And so just for all of those reasons, and mainly because it's a girl, I'm just really excited about it, because I'm excited for how adorable she's going to be. Also, our son is super cute. Yes. If you just imagine
That's just straight
him
up facts.
those genetics and that cuteness in a little girl. I'm from seeing the ultrasound pictures, my heart was melting. Just like that can be our post about for this episode. We can post the ultrasound picture.
You know, that's like an official social media announcement of our because we haven't done that.
Oh, we haven't. You're right. Well, but we've told everyone. Everyone knows. We talked about it on the last podcast.
We just said we weren't gonna we just were like, we're not gonna do that.
Well,
it's too basic.
All right, we'll post.
We'll see
something. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just like so excited about that. Also, like I said earlier, the newborn phase, sleep deprivation is hard. But other than that, not the most terribly hard thing on the dad. And so I haven't fully prepared myself or thought about what that's going to look like with also having a toddler there at the same time. Because for me, I'm like, oh, I could go back to that. And it's a little girl, sweet. But it's not like, in my mind, there's a little bit of like, it's going to be the exact same thing, but it's going to be very different now. Because there's going to be a 3-year-old at that point. And so I know there are things about it that I haven't processed through yet, honestly. I think I'm still in a lot of
Maybe just don't.
Maybe I won't. Maybe I'll just like ride it out and then get there. Because what's the use of worrying about it anyway, I guess. But
I can tell you it's useless.
I mean, look at you.
Struggling.
You're freaking out. You're having panic attacks in the middle of the night. But I think there's part of it that I just like haven't really had the time or mental energy to process a lot of it yet. I just like, I'm also just being a little bit of a, I don't know. I'm just simple. I'm like, well, wanted to have another kid. There's never going to be a better time. We're getting it out of the way. We're doing it. We'll get through it. But I think there's also like more than I did with Ezra. I think that the Lord's helping me trust him a little bit and just sort of like, he's going to get us through it. He's going to figure it all out. The way that he provided for us in everything with Ezra, with just like help and resources and family members and giving us energy when we shouldn't have had energy and all that. I think I'm just like
today,
exactly. Like realizing how much of it is God carrying us through rather than us just like mustering it up and doing it ourselves. I think that's just like my entire thing now with kid number 2 is just like, I mean, we didn't do it ourselves anyway, you know? And so that's a comforting thing for me to be feeling. And it's been a nice thing lately where I've been, but I don't know why that's not extending to how I feel about some of the stuff with Ezra that I talked about. That the Lord just gives me strength and...
Because fear and guilt are different.
Nah, that's good, yeah. Because with Ezra, it's a lot of fear.
Oh, I was going to say...
No, sorry.
Okay, I was like, I don't know what...
No, with Ezra, it's a lot of guilt.
But okay.
Yeah, that's true. It probably is easier for me and the stuff that I struggle with. It's probably easier to give fear over to the Lord than it is guilt. Because guilt gets at your like self-worth and like all of that, which is like, I struggle with pride a lot and feeling of self-worth and just like self-righteousness. And so guilt really gets into that. Yeah, that's a good point. Anyway, it's kind of an interesting way to end a podcast episode.
Yeah.
But
this one got more, when we were talking about episode ideas, we talked about doing more like straight up
faith-based.
Yeah. This one got more that way than I expected it to. I don't know. I guess the older I get, and I guess the more I mature in my faith, I'm realizing it's really hard to have anything without it. You know, it's like it just kind of it bleeds into everything because it's the context.
It's the core of it all.
Yeah.
And it's
Sunday. And we had church today. So.
We had that word.
Maybe if we did this on a Thursday night, it might not be quite as...
Well, I think also this gets into a lot of our deepest like fears and doubts and worries and guilt and stuff like that. And that's like the only way to interpret that in as believers, but then also just to not like fall apart.
Yeah.
Is replacing the fear and lies and stuff with just truth and what God says, you know?
I gotta say, doing this time around, these 2 episodes, I feel so much older than I did the last time we did it. Like,
Man.
I feel like I've matured a lot, but I just feel older. You know what I mean? Like,
Feel like
I just
a grown up.
I feel like a grown up. Like, I'm obviously I can hear myself and I can hear you, and I'm like, whoa, we grew up.
You can
That's
hear
so
me?
cool. What?
You can hear me in here?
What?
You can hear me?
What?
Wait, babe, you can hear me?
Huh?
You can hear me in your headphones? I haven't been able to hear you this whole time. I'm just going off vibes. Also, I am a certified ASL interpreter, so I can read your lips.
What's wrong with you?
I don't know. That was just a lie. Also, your windscreen
Liar! He's a
is
liar!
over your mouth anyway.
Man,
So.
if anybody knows what that is,
Yeah, comment
please
what that is.
comment on Spotify.
Okay. This is if you listened all the way through this to this point. What was it? Oh, the Red Bull. Comment, is there a wings emoji? Does that exist? With like little angel wings or something?
Let me look it up real quick.
I think that the concept of angels has gotten enough traction with the secular folks.
There's money with wings.
Money, okay, do money with wings.
And there's also a chicken wing.
No, money with wings.
Oh, there's a wing. It's just one wing and not 2 wings.
Okay.
So when I looked up wings, it disappeared.
So it's like, no. Plural? No, we don't have that.
Nah, we don't have wings.
Okay.
I got a wing.
Comment with the singular wing emoji twice.
Yeah.
Red Bull gives you wings. And there's nothing to do with children. Say Drake.
Oh, no.
They not like us.
No.
Yes. Listen.
Anyways, I don't think we have anything else to talk about.
I really don't.
So
we have some new like stuff on social media. I think we have new we have a YouTube channel now.
Oh yeah, and the podcasts are going up on there. Just the new ones, not the old ones.
Yeah, the new podcasts are going up on there. We couldn't get the old ones on there, but YouTube, we have that now. We have a Threads now. We started that.
By the way, the YouTube, we're not doing video, at least not yet. But it's
hey,
on YouTube.
You know what though? We were just talking about this before we started. If you are like listening to this and you're like, man, I would like this like multiple times more. That's not how you say that. I would like this more. I would like video. Then tell us that. Comment that or tell us that in person. Because we're kicking around the idea. It would take more work, but like I would like to do video. It'd be fun. You can do video content.
I have to look nicer.
What if we just like the whole thing was that we didn't? Or we can make it a thing that we record in our PJs every time.
I think I would just live my life.
Wear your bonnet. Just do bonnet. I'll wear one too.
Okay. Matching bonnets.
I'll do a wave cap.
That say cookies and cream.
Cookies. Yours says cream. Mine says cookies. He's black.
Again,
I'm tan.
when you separate them, I don't like it anymore.
Yeah, it kind of becomes creepy.
I think you should stop doing that.
I'll just wear my wave cap.
Oh gosh. You do rag.
When the sun goes down, our hair goes up.
Edit that out, you weirdo.
That's a black king right there. Anyway, let us know that stuff. Comment the wings. We will see you guys in the next one.
Yeah.
Peace.